Hello! In this video, we will be using Gapminder to examine the total fertility rate, or the number of babies per woman, of various countries, and we will see how the gross domestic product per capita, or the amount of income divided by the amount of people of all of these countries, affects the number of babies per woman. So this right here, the total fertility rate, is going to be our response, which is the focus of our question. And the GDP per capita is going to be the reason why, or the explanatory reason. And as we see here, the trend is going to be, we're going to start in 1960, and we're going to start way up here, very high total fertility rate, very low GDP per capita for most of these countries. And as that GDP per capita increases, as wealth increases, the number of babies per woman, the total fertility rate, starts shrinking. We can see that trend happening for all of these countries here across the world. So you can see this line here. As all of these countries get richer, as the people in the countries get richer, there's a higher gross domestic product per capita, more money per person. The number of babies per woman starts shrinking, going down to just about 2, which is the number of children needed to sustain a population. We're going to be taking a look at China here, the country of China, and we're going to start in 1960, where the GDP per capita is $192 per person, not very high, and the number of babies per woman is almost 4. So 4 babies per woman, and fairly low income here. And so 1959 is the start of a great famine. So the number of women is not very, the number of women producing babies per woman is not very high. And then we kind of see in 1961, stays down there. In 1962, they come out of that famine, and there's a baby boom actually that occurs. Same with 1963, it's going to peak way up here at 7.5 babies per woman. And then, kind of as we enter into the 1970s here, we're going to see a general shrinking of that total fertility rate. Increase in GDP, decrease in total fertility rate. Kind of a baby boom is happening here. And then when we get to 1979, China enacts their one-child policy. So families are only allowed one child. There are very few exceptions. And we're going to start seeing that rate, total fertility rate, shrinking down pretty far to about 1. Right there, it's at 1.5. So lower than the amount needed to repopulate. And then it keeps going until about 2017 here, we're at 1.63. So still pretty low, fairly low. However, their population is still growing. So as we can see here, lower GDP per capita, lower amount of income per person, especially in 1961, 1962, 1963. Very high amount of fertility, total fertility rate. And then as that GDP per capita increases, the total fertility rate sinks down. All right, thank you for watching.